Today I am going to start a new chapter, so that is biotechnology and its applications. Biotechnology, you know that it is having its application in the field of agriculture and medicines. So there are three critical research areas. The research that is going on in three fields. And what are the fields? Providing waste catalyst in the form of improved organism, creating optimal conditions, downstream processing. So the first point is that providing waste catalyst. So either we are preparing modified organisms or the proteins or the enzymes which are produced. So these are called the catalyst. So once you prepare the improved organism, now you have to grow the organisms. Like yesterday also in the video I explained you. Now if in the bacteria we are incorporating a gene for insulin, now the bacteria will start producing insulin. Okay? So the first point is that creating improved organism. Now the second step, so that is to grow that particular organism, and for growing that particular organism we need optimal conditions. Like for example, suppose you want to grow bacteria, then there is requirement of the culture medium and the pH should be optimum, the temperature should be optimum. So these are called the optimal conditions. So we have to provide the optimal conditions so that the improved microorganism or the improved organism it can grow. Now the third is the downstream processing. So in downstream processing we are obtaining the product, because what is the ultimate aim of biotechnology? To get the product either in the form of protein or enzymes. So with the help of the downstream processing we are getting the product in pure form. So the research is going on in these three areas. First, application of biotechnology in the field of the agriculture. So there are 3 points are there. One is the agrochemical based agriculture, organic farming and genetically engineered crop. So how the yield can be increased? First one is by using agrochemicals. Any chemical compound which is used in agriculture, for example the chemical fertilizer or the pesticide or the insecticide, now these are called agrochemicals. And by using agrochemicals we can increase the yield of agriculture. Second is the organic farming. In the organic farming we are not using any chemical compounds. For example, in place of the chemical fertilizer we are using the manure. For example, the cow dung, so that is a manure. So this kind of the farming that is called organic farming. So nowadays you can find out there is a switch from agrochemicals to organic farming. Third is genetically engineered crop. If any kind of the manipulation is done in the DNA of the crop plants, and now the crop plant is naturally resistant to insect and the pest, then there is no requirement of providing any chemical compound, and also you can improve the yield of the crop plants. Such crop plants which are called genetically engineered crop. Now the next concept, so that is Green Revolution. All of you know that Green Revolution started in the year 1980. And with the help of the Green Revolution, the yield so that was increased many fold. Because you know the population of India is more than 130 crores, and to provide the food to such a large population, so that is really a problem. And how the problem so it was solved? It was solved with the help of the Green Revolution, because many hybrid varieties they were developed in India, and also the different chemical compounds they were also used. For example, the chemical fertilizer or the insecticide or the pesticides. And with the help of these chemical compounds, the yield so that was increased. But you know that India is a poor country, and the farmers they are also very poor. And these agrochemicals they are very expensive for farmers. So the farmers they cannot afford agrochemicals. And if there is any alternative method, so that we are not using any chemical compound and naturally the crop plant they are resistant. So the alternative method is to produce genetically modified organism or genetically modified crop plants, so that naturally they are resistant and there is no requirement of all these chemical compounds. Genetically modified organism are the organism where genetic manipulation has done. So what do you understand by genetic manipulation? So that means the manipulation is done in DNA. If you are making any kind of change in DNA, then these organisms they are called genetically modified organisms. And what are the benefits or the advantages of these organisms? First one is make crop more tolerant to abiotic stress. Because you know that if any kind of natural calamity happens, there is more wind or there is more rain, then you can find out there is loss of croplands. If croplands, they are naturally resistant or tolerant to any kind of natural stress, either it is severe cold or it is salt which is present in the soil or the salinity or the drought, if there is less rain or the less amount of the water that is available. So if the cropland they are resistant to all kinds of the stress, then naturally they can survive and the yield will not be less. So that is the explanation for first part. Second is reduce dependence on chemical pesticides. I told you that pests are the organisms which can produce disease in cropland, and if there is disease in cropland, automatically yield will be less. If the croplands they are made naturally resistant to pests, then there is no requirement of any pesticides or the chemical compound to destroy or to kill the pest. This is second point. Third is reduce post-harvest loss. After harvesting, when we are cutting the crops, for example, suppose you take the rice. Now when the harvesting is done, then you can find out the grain and the plants that is separated from the main plant. Then they are dry, and later the grains they are separated and they are stored. So after the harvesting also you can find out there is loss. If the grains they are infected with the pest, then again there will be loss of yield. So after the harvesting also, if these croplands they are resistant and there is no loss of the croplands, then we can prevent the post-harvest loss. Then increase the efficiency of the mineral uses. You know that roots they are taking water and the minerals from the soil, and minerals are needed for the normal growth of the croplands. If the soil is good, the fertility of the soil is good, and the root is getting more minerals for the plants, then the growth will be more. So if the plants they are made in such a way that they are having large number of the roots, so that they can use the minerals in a proper way, then ultimately the growth will be more maximum, and the grades can be produced also maximum, and the yield will be more. Then the last one, so that is the enhanced nutritional value. If the cropland is having more nutritional value, like for example, suppose you take the spinach, पालक, पालक में आपका आयरन ज़्यादा है. अगर नॉर्मल जो पालक है, अगर हम इस तरह से मॉडिफाइड पालक बनाए जिसमें आयरन का अमाउंट उससे 2 गुना ज़्यादा है, then you can get the more amount of the that particular minerals. Okay, so this is also one of the aim of genetically modified organism to improve the nutritional quality of the croplands. Like for example, suppose you take the rice plant. In the rice plant there is no vitamin A, normal rice plant. But if you prepare a genetically modified rice plant where the rice grain also can produce the vitamin A, then there is no requirement of taking the vitamin tablets. You can get the vitamin A by taking the rice itself. Okay, so by using the different technology of the biotechnology, now we are also preparing the genetically modified cropland, so that you can find out either they are rich in the iron, or they are rich in the vitamins, or they are rich in the any other minerals which are needed for the normal growth of the human body. Bt toxins, toxin means poisonous compound, and the toxin that is produced by the bacteria, the name of the bacteria is Bacillus thuringiensis. And this toxin, it is having insecticidal application. It can destroy insects. But the toxin is not killing the bacillus. It is not killing the bacteria. Why? Because in the body of the bacteria it is produced in an inactive form. So the bacteria is not getting killed. This toxin that is produced by the gene, the name of the gene is cry gene. And there are different type of the cry genes, because the cry gene they are also very specific for the insect. Different bacteria can produce a different cry gene, and different cry gene can kill the different insect. For example, cry 1 AC, cry 2 AB. They can destroy cotton bollworm, the insect which can destroy the cotton ball. And then the cry 1 AB, it can destroy the corn borer. Corn means maize plant, मकई. मकई में अगर आप देखोगे, अगर कीड़ा खा जाता है तो मकई जो है ये खराब हो जाता है. तो वहाँ पर उस तरह का इंसेक्ट ऑफ हैजोर्ड है कॉर्न बोरर. ओके, एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ क्रॉप प्लांट्स व्हिच आर प्रोड्यूस्ड by with the and naturally these plants they are resistant to different type of the insect which are naturally destroying the crop plants. So Bt toxin it can destroy because they are a specific group of the insect. You have to remember these examples. The first group, so that is the Lepidopteran, as the example as tobacco, bloodworm and the armyworm. Then the Coleopteran, beetle, dipterans, flies and the mosquitoes. Okay, so you have to remember these examples because you get the big question also. Now how the Bt toxin, so that is destroying the insect. So I am explaining by giving an example. So the plant, so that is a Bt cotton, a genetically modified crop plant. And Bt cotton plant, it was introduced in India in the year 2002. So Bt cotton plant is also naturally producing the toxin, which is the Bt toxin. When the insect, now this toxin it is in the inactive form in the cotton plant. In the Bt cotton plant, it is not produced in the active form, it is produced in inactive form. So how? Because the Bt toxin gene, so that was separated from the bacteria and it was joined to the DNA of the cotton plant. So that naturally now the cotton plant will start producing Bt toxin. And also it is producing the Bt toxin in the inactive form. But as the insect is eating the cotton plant, now the toxin will be introduced into the gut of the insect, and in the gut of the insect, because in the gut you can find out the pH, so that is the alkaline pH. So in the alkaline pH, this inactive form of the toxin that is converted into active form. And when it is converted into the active form, now you can destroy the epithelial cell of the midgut. You can see pores are created in the epithelium of the midgut, and when pores are created, automatically the caterpillar, so that is one stage of the insect, so it cannot survive, it gets killed. So this is the way how there is no requirement of using any insecticide, and naturally the Bt cotton, so that is resistant to insect.